Hello everybody, this is Elias and welcome to the first video for this season of KTaNE League, season spring 2021. For those who don't know, League is a series of head-to-head competitions between players where they try to solve the most modules in the shortest amount of time. Greatly simplify things. We have just finished week 0, in which all contestants were to complete one bomb using the staff picks as the modules. Staff picks are some randomly chosen modules chosen by the staff to kind of help balance out some module pools, make sure there's not too much craziness or too much simplicity in a set of weeks. So this week, players had 2 bombs, 20 modules between them, and 10 split. There are 10 unique ones in one, 10 unique ones in a second. Now this one really is more for fun and bragging rights than anything else. This doesn't factor into their league standings at all, but was a good way to get used to staff picks so that they were not a nasty surprise. Now for you today, we will be showcasing 4 players total across the different groups. And comparing their progress, and then looking at everyone's progress as a whole to see how everyone stacks up. Right. With that, let's head into bomb number 1. For bomb number 1, we are going to be showcasing KTaNE and LW's runs. KTaNE is in group B, and LW is in group A, so they will not actually go head-to-head against each other unless they both make it out in the group stages. But I thought these two were a good representation of some of the better performances for this set of bombs. So, let's dive right in. Alright, so you can see now these players did do these runs independently, kind of on their own time. I did not have a specific time they had to do it. They did it, at their own time. But due to competitive modes, they were able to do the same bomb, and we quite do it. Apologies for any artifact changes or missing you see. So this bomb showcases some of the puzzle modules that are in the stat picks: binary puzzle, Tetravex, a few others as we'll see. Let's go over some of the basic rules, like some of the things that are different if you have seen previous ones, but not this one. There are 20 EFM editors this season. They have been split into 3 groups: Group A, Group B, Group C, who are all doing round robin, where the top performers will move on to the standard bracket round. We also have 4 teams competing in the standard team format, round robin to the finals. Now, this set of players, KTaNE and LW, are both newcomers to League. Neither of them have participated in previous seasons. So I thought it would be good to showcase some of the new blood here with this video. Now for each bomb that we will see as we progress through the season, contestants were allowed to pick 15 modules, of which their opponent was 2. 13. 5 of these modules you'll see across these 2 bombs are designated as staff picks. They get to make on each of those. And using some behind-the-scenes magic, we compose 3 missions, making sure each module that is not vetoed gets showcased at least once. Players could do bosses, or rather a boss. Any difficulty, they could not be used to test the module across multiple runs. That is, multiple computers could generate the same puzzle or at least starting the same puzzle and relatively equivalent the rest of the way through. These are just some examples of those that some of these you will see again, because some players others maybe not so much. Modules range from the relatively older and easy, such as the color map that was just done on the LW side, versus the somewhat more error-prone Dual Game of Life, which Dan is pretty good. Qualify their list of modules, players have to complete the 15 modules within a 20-minute time limit. They could do that as many times as they like. But when it comes to these actual runs, they get one shot and one shot only. Now for this week 0, the modules, the 20 staff picks, which are divided into 4 separate pools, were all kind of lumped together and then but the actual breakdown when it comes to competition weeks has them divided up into some loose things. Next week, the official week 1, has, and some of these are not on this one, but they will be on the next. Gridlock, button sequence, Simon on first, very colored and third base, lots of buttons on the modules. Week 2 has valves, skewed slots, digit string, color math, and character shift. Kind of mathy ones there. Week 3 consists of Mazu, Crackbox, Tetravex, Binary Puzzle, and Set. More puzzly modules, several of which you've seen here. And week 4 is kind of your time eaters. Colorful Insanity, Curse Double O, Encrypted Equations, Game of Life Cruel, and Dual Vault. Dual Vault, you see Dan doing now. Kind of time sinks on that one. Now, as you can see here, the players do have Bomb HUD active. That is a mandatory requirement for League. Helps kind of showcase and keep up with where they are on the bomb. As you can see here, LW currently has a 2-module lead. However, he hasn't done Game of Life, which may be a little bit of a time sink, and hasn't done Dual Vault, which, just from the operation, is a bit of a time sink. So, none of these are ever over. Now, for these kind of showcased runs like this, you will notice that the screen is pretty much clipped drop down to cover only the game screen. However, most underrunners have elected broadcast. Have elected broadcast their expert game as well. The notepads, the manuals, what have you. While those may not be seen here on this particular screen, I will include in the description a link to the 4 songs you see here in case you want to see what the player is doing exactly with their dance. And there will be a master playlist. All of the players, assuming that it is posted on some sort of sharing site such as at this point, you can see that LW is working on that Dual Vault, has just Game of Life Cruel left. Dan's about halfway through working on Encrypted Equations. I would like to give a special thank you to all of watching play out. MCD created the template that you see here, which is a stark improvement over what we've used in previous seasons, if I do say so myself, as well as Etten, who has contributed another complaint. Both of them volunteered to help with commentary. Aside from myself, we have Zephod and River as our PDs. We're working as a tester behind the scenes to help get through the hundreds of modules that have been verified for time. 12 people who uploaded it. A big shout out to while we're watching. Ooh, there's LW with a strike. Now these bombs are based on bomb time at the game, not go time. You'll notice something in here as LW clock starts ticking faster. That does mean that a player who technically finishes quicker real time could still lose if the time offset from strikes isn't allow the opponent to catch up. So as you watch these, always remember it's never over till it's over. At this point, LW is trying to fix his game of life. Dan is about to punch in color map, it looks like. Oh, and there's going to be a solve for LW. 2050 left on the clock to solve that one. Unless Egan can... No, looks like Egan's not going to best LW on the clock on this one. We'll see how this Tetravex does. I know many of the EFMers commented that this Tetravex in particular seemed especially brutal. Took a significant amount of time. So we'll see how Eden handles it. We'll see if there's anything anybody can learn from his technique. There we go. So there we have it. Two of our top runners for this bomb, finishing in 2017 and 2050. Now those weren't the only two people who did this bomb, obviously. All of the EFMers were asked to complete this bomb. And we had 17 players put up times. We will showcase that shortly, but I will go ahead and state, slightly spoilery, that LW's time of 9:09, like 9:50. How much of a time he had left, or how much of a time he had elapsed, was the fastest time. Eden's time was second place right behind it. Those were our two fastest solves here on bomb number 1. So as we prepare to take a glance at the second bomb, which will be using all of the staff picks that were not in the first bomb, get that prepped up, and we prepare that. The players did know the full set of 20, so players could have paused after the first one, taken stock of what they hadn't seen, and known what to expect on bomb number 2. Up to them if they wanted to go that route or not. Make no judgments either way. But let's dive into, it's actually bomb number 2, please forgive the title error. This time we're going to be looking at 2 other players, Atsu from Group C, Caleb from Group B. But these are both returning players. They both participated last season, I believe. We'll see how they do with the set of bombs. You'll notice one of the bombs does tend to generate first, just to kind of get things synced up a little easier. That will be the person whose audio you hear. That will probably be better indicated in the future. I admit that there was a lot to do from the standpoint of admin, so making this as nice as possible was not the where I was able to spend most of my time. You see Asu absolutely destroying that Mazu. Going through it very quickly. Caleb going ahead and getting his edge work, which is not yet looked at. Grabbing the freebie on Tool Mod. Caleb, on the other hand, looks like he is Bounds, while Asu takes on the Crack Box. While these bombs are going on, I would like to again give thanks to everybody who is helping behind the scenes this season to make this doable. On the TV side, we have Sapphire and River. In testing, we have Weird, who helped go through the hundreds of modules that had to be checked on people's lists, see if they were valid or not. MCD, who created the template you see here, and will be helping stitch together the videos throughout the season, as well as Ethan, who has a template of his own, and will also be helping stitch together videos. Yaba Guide, who has volunteered to assist commentary again this season, and everybody else who, in one way or another, has helped to make this season essentially the biggest that we've ever had. Between 20 EFMers and 14s, definitely a larger challenge we've seen before. We see Asu taking a bit of a lead, clearing that cursed 00. Caleb's spending a little more time on it. And again, if you want to see more than just the bomb itself, but some of the details over what the players are doing and seeing, their videos will be linked in the description down below. Caleb's spent quite some time on this 00 now. I see you looking at the fidget string. Very nice shade of purple. Come on. We're solved to 2, but plenty of time to see it catch up here. You will notice some clipping on Caleb's HUD. You may have seen something similar on LW's notepad on his game. The previous bomb replay. I mean, the players are free to record these how they will, and prop the best we can, but occasionally things pop up on top of other things. It's a little unfortunate, but we do what we can with it. Fortunately, in neither case did it cover up essential. Caleb doing roughly the same numbers, same connector there in the middle that Asu did. We'll move him up to 4, but at the same time, Asu goes up to 5 and starts looking at Colorful Insanity. Now, disclaimer, not every match will be showcased, obviously. Each week there are 11 matchups scheduled, so it would be far too much to ask anybody to put those together. But we will try to have at least 1 or 2 matchups a week. We will be doing it more in this format where it's admittedly a little less interactive with the viewers, but it is a bit more open to the scheduling of the commentators. So you'll see some of these pre-recorded replays a little bit more often. Asu has taken number 6 as going down to a clear block at this point. Caleb now looking at all those colored boxes. . moving on to the sequences as Caleb is doing squares, checking them. There we go. Caleb is now sitting on 6 solves and appears to head into Simon on. There we hear Simon playing its musical dulcet tones that it does once it's being interacted with. Definitely a module to be aware that it's going to make. Actually, looks like he's skewed slots next. It's probably good to keep our viewers that the players do not know precisely which module will run which bomb. They know the pools that will be available, although they don't know which ones are completely. And they know that anything not vetoed will show up on 1 or 2 bombs, but they don't know when. With the exception being if a player has a boss module in their pool, that will always appear on whichever bomb they have module count advantage. As we go through these weeks, we will have 3 bombs. Modules will be placed in the player's pools in a 7-3, 3-7, and 5-5 split. Kind of have a priority for each player in 1 bomb and then a neutral bomb to finish things up. I can see Assie is now working on Simon. Caleb taking on the digit string, kind of going over each other's string. We've seen answers for these, so we can kind of roughly estimate how long one is taking in comparison. There's Caleb finishing his 8. Heading over to Gridlock now. A little bit of a time here, especially on the FM. Might be a chance for him to catch up. We shall see. Master is starting to answer, and yep, has finished that. He just has valves left. Caleb is going to fast if he wants to pass Master's time. But again, remember that these times are kind of as a showcase for fun, and make sure the players were able to run bombs successfully, able to get things in within required deadlines, and so on and so forth. There's a Gridlock solve, skewed and Natsu left for Caleb, but against just valves, and there Natsu entering it, and solved. 20:01 on the clock, so 9:58 elapsed time for bomb number 2 for Natsu. That does put him in a better position on this bomb than Caleb. However, I will state that Asu's time of 9:58 was the second best time. Top time on this one actually went to LW again, clocking in at 8:09:07. We'll look at the full list of times after this. Caleb, puzzle here. A little more time with it as you did, maybe not quite as comfortable with this module. hard to state and theorize. There we go, Caleb clocked down. 15:52. That's going to give Caleb a elapsed time of 11:07. And with that, we come to the end of watching these particular runs, but I'm sure you all are curious how everyone did overall. So let us take a look at the standings for week 0, shall we? And there we have the overall standings for EFM on top and teams on the bottom. For each bomb, all of the performances were ranked 1st through 17th. Technically 1st through 20th, but we had 4 DNSs. DNS standing for Do Not Submit. Players were ranked 1 through 20 on bomb 1, 1 through 20 on bomb 2, and then the average of those ranks gave them their overall ranking. So tonight you can see LW took 1st place in both bombs, Eden took 2nd and then 3rd, SU 6th and then 2nd, SBIC 3rd and then 5th, and so on down the line. Now you will notice, that those are color coded. Those are colored based on the groups. Group A is in blue. Group B, that would be Eden's group, in orange. Therefore, Asu's group, Group C, is in green. You'll also see the times at the bottom for team. You will notice that Procyon on EFM and Negative Creativity in team, both of them have their results marked in red. They did complete the bombs. One of the requirements is the main video for purposes of these highlights and verification runs. Those were not received before the deadline, so those did qualify as disqualification for them. So there we have it. There are standings for week number 0 of Spring 2021 League. Now, as stated, these results don't mean a whole lot. They may help you be able to determine that you need to sharpen up in one area, maybe not worry so much in another. It's all up to the player to decide how they want to take this. But all I know is, based on these results, I think we're going to have a very interesting season. That's going to do it for me here. Be sure to keep an eye out on these players, see how they perform this season, and we will see you next time for another highlight/result reel. And until then, this has been Elias. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.